Haha, you're next to me, look. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Hope you're all doing really well. Alexis Sanchez has apparently handed in a transfer request at Arsenal. Does that make his move to Manchester United that little bit closer? Also, big day for Liverpool, signing players in advance of hey, we're working. We're up and working. That's good. Liverpool signing a player in Keita that won't play for them next year, which I think is fantastically funny. So Klopp signs a player who he won't be able to manage because he'll have had the sack and they won't be in Europe, I hope. So let's see what happens with that. The transfer request is rumoured to be true in relation to Alexis Sanchez, as is Oxlade-Chamberlain to Chelsea. Liverpool also apparently putting in a bid for Lamar. Lamar is obviously a player that Manchester United would like to, well, many Manchester United fans would like us to sign. As of today, as of right now, in relation to Andreas Pereira, there is not a deal in place for him to go to Valencia. Obviously, that was something that I was very concerned about. But a few people saying what's happened to the background. I'm just ecstatically happy that we're actually live because I'm actually on a break this week. Not one of those breaks. I'm on a break, family break to Centre Parks. If you're from the UK, you may well know what it is to do with, hence my little daughter there. So I'm very happy that the streams are going to work so that we can keep it going. BD Avies is on about Rashford to Barcelona. Forget it, never going to happen. Barcelona have signed Ousmane Dembele today, I think, a player I think is going to be one of the best players in the world. It frustrates me that United cannot do that sort of deal. So the way I want to run tonight is we would normally do a Skype show, but because I'm not at home and I don't have the bandwidth is debatable, I don't want to mess up the stream. So what I'm going to do is really just take a lot of your live comments tonight and we can really sort of get going. Transfer business is probably going to feature, but I will take a lot of your questions and we'll probably run that throughout the week just so that we've got that interaction going. Hair looks different because I've just come out of the swimming pool and I've not put any gel in it and I've got a light. Lighting's going to be bad this week, but it's not the lighting that you hear. Zachary is obviously an Arsenal fan. He says he's clinging on to a rumour that Sanchez will sign, which is a lie. Zachary, you probably know about as much as Liverpool do about winning titles. I suspect you're an Arsenal fan. You know absolutely nothing about football or transfer deals, so sit down. The rumour in relation to Alexis Sanchez is that Alexis Sanchez wants to leave Arsenal. Manchester United and Manchester City want to sign him. However, Arsenal, being the little club that they are, will not sell to Manchester United. They prefer to sell to Manchester City. I mean, that is just the sort of mentality that clubs like Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsene Wenger have now. That they you know, we've not won the title for 4 years, but we're still the biggest threat. I take it as a compliment that Wenger will not sell Sanchez to United, but he will sell him to City. I mean, what an absolute clown that bloke is. I know a few Arsenal fans, and they're actually okay. And I don't feel sorry for fans of other clubs because you've got a choice who you support. But they should have sacked that idiot at the end of last season. What they're getting now, any non-Arsenal fan could have told you that Wenger would continue to take his team up north and continue to embarrass that club, and they will get nowhere near the title. And he's dug his feet in over Sanchez, and they don't want to play for him. They don't want to play for him. That club is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment, and Wenger should let him go where he wants to go. And as I've said before, in relation to Alexis Sanchez, why go to Man City? Why go to Man City? They've got so many attacking options. So many. Sane, De Bruyne, Aguero, Jesus, both the Silvers, Sterling. And then you're going to add Sanchez to that as well. Whereas United, we've got a number 7 shirt. The best, you know, I'll argue it with anybody in European football that the number 7 is the best shirt in world football. Arsenal wouldn't loan Debuchy to us when we needed a right back 2 seasons ago. Why would they sell as our best player? That's a contribution from Mr. United, and it's a very good contribution because they're bitter. They're absolutely obsessed with United, like so many clubs in the Premier League are. Spalacus66 is on about Bale. Not really going to add anything about Bale because Bale's not going to come to United. We did the transfer news about it this morning and I basically said everything that needs to be said there. Real Madrid won't sell him without us giving De Gea. We're not going to give De Gea. Bale doesn't want to leave Real Madrid, so we'd be getting a player who doesn't want to come. and at this late stage, Real Madrid haven't bought anybody to replace Bale either, so it's dead in the water, that deal. I think this week is going to be very interesting in relation to transfers, which is why I'm so pleased that the Wi-Fi is actually working, because I think I will be live with you a few times this week. Will United sign anybody? That is the big question on everybody's lips, and I hope that we do. And I reiterate what I've said for the last 2 weeks. Oh, the wife's just come down. Are you going to come and... You coming on? All right. She's an Arsenal fan. We are not. Look, what annoys me, and I always defend United, but I will defend United honestly. What annoys me is, and I've said this before, so I apologise for the next few seconds to get to the point that I haven't said before, that Manchester United, Jose Mourinho wanted 4 signings this summer, and one of them was a winger. And Jose can come out all he likes and back the club and say, you know, they've been really good to me, this, that and the other, and I understand why they can't get me that 4th signing. But it doesn't really wash the dishes for me. It really doesn't, because I look at what other clubs are doing, and they don't need wingers, but they're buying wingers. I mean, whether you'd want Oxlade-Chamberlain at United or not is a debatable thing, but Chelsea certainly don't need him. They've got Willian, they've got Pedro, they've got Hazard. That's 3 I can name straight away. We've got no wingers who can put the cross in the put a cross into the box. You know, the minute people start saying, remember we've got Ashley Young, is the minute I just feel like breaking down and crying. Ashley Young is our hope as a winger. Come on. Lingard, not really good enough as a winger. He's a squad player. Martial and Rashford are not wingers and they can't cross. Valencia can't cross. So Chelsea are going to sign Oxlade-Chamberlain. They don't even need a winger. They've got 3 wingers as it is. Liverpool, in for Lamar. They don't need wingers. They've already got Sane and Salah, and they're going to get another winger. What does that tell me? It tells me 2 things. One, it tells me a lot of our rivals are buying wingers, and you know, wingers are obviously going to be the future. 2, it shows me that our club are not backing our manager, because it's all about this again. It's all about there's the purse strings, tighten them. We're not spending any money, because value in the market's nonsense. There aren't players in the market's nonsense. So why is Mourinho not allowed the 4th signing that he's been saying all summer that he wants? Why is he not allowed the winger? And I put no blame at Mourinho's door at all. None at all. None at the players. It's not their fault either. I put the blame firmly at the owners if we don't sign a winger this week, because there's no excuse for it. None at all. They should be looking at Manchester United. They should be looking at us top of the league, and they should be doing what every single one of us would do, and that is, we're loaded. We make so much money at this club. We're top of the league. Our rivals are strengthening. We need a winger. There's 60 million. Go and get us one now, and we can win this league. What they're doing is they're risking that to keep a little bit of profit for themselves, and it's not good enough. We need a winger, and our rivals are signing them when they don't need them. So, who's available? Many of you have just said there. Draxler's available. Perisic is potentially still available. Lamar's obviously available. Felipe Anderson's available. Alexis Sanchez is available. That's 5 straight away. Not to mention people like Brandt, Julian Brandt. There's a few, and it disappoints me that we potentially have finished our business this summer. And anyway, let's mix in some of your comments. How much do you think Sanchez is worth, says Harry Phelan, if Manchester United were to bid for him? Realistically, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He's 29 in December. In a realistic market, he's probably worth 40 million. In this market, I'd pay 60. Hal Demba says it's very simple. If you get Alexis Sanchez, we win the title. What we've got to remember is that Alexis Sanchez has got to want to come to Manchester United. Robin van Persie wanted to come to Manchester United and he forced it. I'm not convinced that Alexis Sanchez wants to come to Manchester United. I think we can all sit here pontificating saying he's perfect. We'll win the title if we get him. We've got to get him. This is the man. And I totally agree with that. But what we don't know is what Alexis Sanchez wants. And Alexis Sanchez could well want to move to Man City. Which, you know what? It's disappointing. It makes no sense other than that. They've already got way too many attacking options as it is. But Neymar went to PSG for the money, so we don't know what Sanchez wants to do. But if he's got any semblance of being a winner and a footballer, then Manchester United is the one. We're a much bigger club than City. We've got much better status than City, But the big draw really is that number 7 shirt and that opportunity to come and win the title like Van Persie did. You know, he's been at Arsenal a few years. Van Persie's the prototype, but I hope we sign someone this week, because if we don't, we can still win the title. But I think it's a bit like trying to win the title with one arm tied you behind your back. I think the club needs to back Mourinho. If we have Mourinho on the show now and he was forced, you know, injected, bear with me, we injected him with truth serum and he was forced to answer this question I'm about to ask now. Jose Mourinho, do you want a winger this week, and is that the player that you wanted that the club have let you down? He would go, yes, yes. I want one, I would take one, but the club won't give me one. And that's the truth, and we all know it. Did Alexis Sanchez hand in a transfer request, says Zed Jamie. As far as I know, he did. That's what the rumour is. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with it. Unfortunately, the way things are going at the moment, it's looking like other clubs' transfer activity is going to be more interesting than ours. I mean, how depressing will it be if Liverpool get Lamar and we don't buy a winger? It's not jealousy. God, jealous of Liverpool. God, you'd have to be really on antidepressants to be jealous of those. I'm not jealous of Liverpool. I don't see Liverpool as a threat at all. They've not been near a title in nearly 30 years, so I'm not jealous of Liverpool. What would really annoy me about it is not really Liverpool signing a winger in Lamar. It's the fact that United haven't shown that ambition to go and get a player as well. I just feel that we have to do it. Sanchez or Bale, says Amritaj Burke. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the funniest statement of the night. Eric Lord says Gillan Balaguer said the Alexis transfer request is fake. Well, you can guarantee it's true then. Balaguer hasn't got a bloody clue. Hasn't got a clue. I love it when people come on here quoting Balaguer or Sky Sports like it's true. Mark Mohammed says, Mark, you mark my words, Manchester United transfer window is closed. Well, that is the fear, to be honest. Thoughts on Danny Rose, says Dylan Johnson. It won't happen, is my thoughts. Do you think Bale will come to United, says Abubakar? No, I don't know why Bale's really kicking off again. I've said this morning on the transfer show that I don't think it will happen. If Liverpool sign Lamar, it means Coutinho leaves the club, says Abdullah. You know what, Abdullah, you're probably spot on there. I mean, Liverpool are stupid. I mean, that's a statement I could say for the last 20 years, but they are absolutely stupid. They should have let Coutinho go for 100 million. The fact that Coutinho has handed a transfer request in, does want to leave, and they're refusing things like 130 million. That's just stupidity, that is. Wenger would never give Sanchez to Mourinho. Mark, would you prefer Sanchez coming or Pereira staying, says Lalilt. I can't answer that question if I'm totally honest. Well, no, I can do. I'm not going to refuse a question. That's a cop-out. So would I rather we signed Alexis Sanchez or kept Pereira? Well, I presume you're on about selling Pereira permanently, because I'd take Alexis Sanchez and Pereira going on loan, even though I wouldn't be happy about him going on loan. But if you're telling me Pereira leaves the club permanently and we get Alexis Sanchez, I know it's the minority, but I would keep Pereira. And just on the point of Pereira, and it sort of backs up what I've just said there, I believe in Pereira. I've believed in Pereira for the last few years, ever since he was in the youth setup. I think he's a fantastic talent. I think he can be one of the best attacking midfielders in European football by the time he's 25. He's only 21 at the moment. I believe in Pereira, and I would keep him at the club over signing Alexis Sanchez. Yes, I would. Minority view, but I would. I really do believe in him. I'm worried about what his future is at United, but I do really believe in him. Harry Phelan, I agree with you. United should have got the Perisic deal done weeks ago. It's the one deal this summer. I would love to know the intricacy of that deal and why we didn't get that deal done. Because Mourinho flew over to watch Ukraine-Croatia in the March international break to speak to Perisic's agent. Perisic wants to come to United, or he did until very recently. United were after him, and for some reason in June we messed it up. I think we knew that Inter Milan had a financial fair play bill to pay of 30 million, and we played hardball and said we're not paying any more than 30. Then they cleared that money elsewhere, and they were like, "You're not having him for 50." You know, we messed that deal up, and he would have been perfect, and he wouldn't have come in and been, you know, he wouldn't have come in and had the impact of a Ronaldo or a Bale or anything like that. That's not what. This is what annoys me about the Perisic thing, because I know some United fans don't want him, but Perisic was never coming in to do the Bale thing or anything like that. He was coming in to fill a role that we don't do very well, and that is effectively a specialist winger putting crosses into the box. He would have had the same impact Matic has had, and I didn't predict the Matic impact. You know, I was one of those who didn't want Matic, and I've learned from that. You know, Mourinho spotted it, knew he was exactly what we need, and it's worked really well so far. But on the other hand, with Perisic, I can see what Perisic would do, and unfortunately, it's looking like it won't happen. But I would still take him over Draxler, Lamar. I'd probably take him over Alexis Sanchez, to be honest, because he's a specialist winger, and it's really important that we get that in. We'll see. Mark, did you see Pogba speaking to Mahrez after the match? There could be something in that, says Mark Mohammed. Again, Mark, another good point. At this late stage, would you say no to Mahrez? I've never been, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have been watching the United stand for a couple of years, and Mahrez has been mentioned a few times, and for me, he's not the player I would have gone for. But in this last few days of the season, if it's Mahrez or nobody, I'd take Mahrez, because we need a winger. It's as simple as that. Perisic has a very good start to the season, you're right. Oh, Mad Marcus, I haven't replied to your text yet. I'm doing this on a live show. I haven't replied to your text yet. I have read it. It is interesting, but it's not me who needs to see that. It's Draughty. But it is interesting. Very interesting. Bid for Robban, says Andrew Greenwood. Again, at this late stage, one season off Robban is better than nobody, isn't it? Do you think we can win the league if we don't sign a winger, says Ronak Parek? And I tell you what, Ronak, that is the £100 million question. What do you lot think? I mean, I think the first 2 games of the season we're all, oh yeah, we can do everything, and then I think you see for 70 minutes against Leicester, yeah, we had the chances to, you know, Mata's goal was onside. Lukaku should have had the technique to adjust it and put it in the bottom corner for the penalty, but they didn't, and the goal wasn't given, and it was 0-0, and it was a lucky goal off Rashford. I mean, he didn't connect on it quite right, and it was a mistake by the keeper. We win the game, that's fantastic. But I think there will be more games like that in this season where, you know, we're not blitzing teams 4-0, we miss 1 or 2 chances, and we don't get the win. And what would have been the resonating thing from Leicester game at the weekend if we'd drawn that would have been, we should have won that. Defensively, we were fantastic. Leicester never had a sniff. But what did we do in that game? We wasted countless opportunities from out wide. Valencia, Blind, countless times putting poor quality crosses into the box. And I would have been saying, look, Mourinho has identified that. He wanted a player. We didn't get it in. So can we win the league this year if we don't bring a winger in? We can. But I'd be a hell of a lot more confident if we did bring a winger in. I think Luke Shaw can solve the left-hand side, by the way. Luke Shaw, if he can stay fit, he is good going forward, and he can put a cross in. And he's got the speed that Daley Blind hasn't to get back and forward. On the right-hand side, this is why Mahrez might not be a bad signing if it ever was to happen, because we need somebody who can cross from the right. And Valencia is very good at getting up and down, but he can't put a cross in. He can't put a cross in. As I've said so many times, he is Dracula. He's terrified of crosses. AAC63 says, Mark, I heard Bale was booed by Real Madrid fans and his car was attacked. Did you hear this? It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not a big fan of Real Madrid fans at all. I think they're spoilt little vermin, and the way they treat their legends is a disgrace. Ronaldo's been booed. Casillas got booed. Disgraceful. I mean, we were all talking last season about the minority of fans at Old Trafford who booed Fellaini. And obviously I've never been Fellaini's biggest fan, but that's based on footballing ability. It's not based on disliking him. And a few people said, well, I bet you applauded those people who booed him. No, I don't agree with that. You know, Manchester United as a club, as its history, what it stands for, is far bigger than that. I don't advocate booing your own players unless they do something absolutely ridiculous, like, you know, tarnish the shirt or something like that. Then booing somebody for a bad performance, Real Madrid fans are just horrific. Lynn Hall says we should go all out for Sanchez, rare kind of player, outbid other clubs. If we can't get him, we should get Perisic. Get either, and it would vastly improve our EPL chances, and keep Pereira. I think, Lynn, that's a very good point, but the problem with Manchester United is there is no appetite from our owners to outbid anybody. They won't outbid anybody unless they can get a deal that's like economical and works for them. I don't think there's an appetite from Manchester United Football Club, i.e. the Glazers, to go and spend and outbid anybody. I don't think they want to do that, and that is probably why a lot of people feel we won't sign anybody. And I've seen a lot of people in the live comments saying, do you think we'll sign anybody in the next few days? And to be honest, with every passing hour it looks more unlikely, but I feel we have to, and I'm just clinging on to that hope that we will. When's the next ramble, Mark? Says Pogba's Reds one. I don't know. We'll do one. I think we will probably end. I think we'll probably. I don't know. That's not finished anyone. We should give Arsenal Smalling and they give us Sanchez. Everybody wins, says Roman. We should get Pulisic, says WTOX154. I think he's a bit young at the moment, Pulisic. Only 18. I do like him. Dax07 says, Mark, do you feel our owners didn't pay 48 million for Perisic because they didn't see profit in his shirt sales? I don't think that. I just think that they probably didn't want to spend that much money. Carisco or Koeman says HKY clan. Well, Carisco's not going to leave Atletico Madrid, is he? Koeman, I think, has only just signed for Munich from Juventus, I think, so I doubt that would happen. Renato Sanchez doesn't really solve any problems, Lowell, although Liverpool are linked with him as well. I mean, there seems to be a lot of clubs doing linked to players at the moment, and we're not. Mahrez would just be another matter, just faster, will always cut inside, which is too predictable, says Stephen Bauer. Antoine Griezmann and Romelu Lukaku next season, says Fortune. Yeah, I don't like the Griezmann talk of next season. What about this season? Why are Manchester United talking about next season? It's embarrassing. It's like what Liverpool have done today, signing a player for next season. Embarrassing. It's about now. Get a player now and we can be league champions next season. I don't want... Griezmann's all good. If we sign Griezmann next summer, fantastic, but I don't really care about next summer. I don't want to think about next summer. I want us to sign players now and win this title. Ashley Viagas says, what happens to Rashford and Martial if we sign Alexis Sanchez? I'll tell you what happens to Rashford and Martial if we sign Alexis Sanchez. Nothing. They'll still play games because it's competition we need. It's competition we need. Rashford, Martial and Lukaku is not enough. 3 strikers is not enough when you want to win the title, when you've got to play in the Champions League. It isn't enough. That's not enough. We need another one. We need 4. When we're playing 3 attackers, we need 4. Redmond says Raul Ennis. Sanchez or Bale, who would you prefer? Says Ibrahim Bello. I can answer it. Adil Sadiq says, Mark, you're right. It's not about now. It's not about next summer. It's about now. Get Wilfried Zaha back, says Lucas. I'm going to answer that question. Alexis Sanchez or Bale? Bale's a year younger. I'll go Bale. Yeah, I would. I would have gone Bale a couple of weeks ago. I think I was asked the same question, and I would still go Bale now because I think Alexis Sanchez would be fantastic for us, but probably is a bit more forward thinking, whereas I think Bale could do more of a job with assists and stuff. It's very close. It's very close. Theon Curtin says we'll sign Draxler on Dreadline Day. It could be Dreadline Day. If Mbappe is confirmed to PSG, which I haven't seen myself, if that is confirmed and they've got Neymar and they've got Di Maria and they've got Moura and they've got Cavani, Draxler's game time is probably going to be quite limited, and if it's true that PSG have delayed the payment for Mbappe till next summer, that shows that they are at least being confined by financial fair play to a certain point. So they will need to sell somebody, So Draxler could become available. The thing about Draxler is he's not particularly fast, but at least it's somebody you can put across into the box. Willian would be perfect at United, says LW10. I think Mourinho would get him if he could. Denzel says he'd take me on the wing. I'm certainly not fast. I can put a decent cross in off both feet, but I'm not fast enough, I'm afraid. We should go for Gaetan from Atletico Madrid. God, I'm surprised we haven't been linked with him every other year. Lucas Mora says Rahab. Naeem says we're not signing anybody. No number 7 at the start of the season, says Eric Lord. It is disappointing. That is disappointing that we've just ignored that shirt, but it just highlights who was meant to wear it. Antoine Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann. I agree with you, Zio, that Mbappe has ruined his career if he goes to PSG. It's shocking. Shocking for an 18-year-old lad to do that. At that age, right at the start of your career, the world is at your feet. Real Madrid want you, and you go and sign for a pub team. You know, you've invented yourself in a pub league for Monaco. Europe sat up, and then the next season you're champions at Monaco, and then the very next season you move to your biggest rival in that league, who finished second, for a load of money when Real Madrid want you. I mean, it is just totally and utterly, for an 18-year-old lad to be doing that is just typical of what football's become. I mean, I'm no lover of Real Madrid, as people say, that as people have heard on this show and many others, but Mbappe should be thinking, Real Madrid, wow, God, you know, I've been dreaming of this since I was a kid. I'm sure he wasn't dreaming of going to PSG from Monaco, and there's one reason he's done that: money. And so many players are like it now. It's sad. It's very sad, but what can you do? He wants to play with Neymar, says Panache. Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he wants to play with Neymar instead of playing for Real Madrid at the Bernabeu with Ronaldo. Draxler can play in midfield as well, as on the wings, says UNHD. And there won't be a fourth signing, Mark, says Red Cairn Devils. Well, effectively there has been with Zlatan, hasn't there? But I know what you mean. Mega Swag says, you're not signing Sanchez, you're not signing Lamar, you're not signing Ronaldo. You need to stop thinking you're signing everyone. You should sign that Irving Lozano, quick, young and good crossing. What, Irving Lozano is already signed for somebody else? Mark, do you think signing Sanchez and Draxler if you are Jose? I would think about signing them, Adrian, yes. A lot of people on about Asensio. Liverpool have been rejected, says Jason Zhang, for Lamar. And Michael Dalkovich says, Mark, I worry like you, but I simply think it's a very difficult transfer window. My dream is Perisic and one other. And Reese Watson says, sell Martial or Rashford. No. Jason Howell, anyone could send the other way for a deal. Thanks for the comment, pal. And Smalling out. Gelson Martins from Sporting says, Darak Taj, what do we think about him? He was linked to Liverpool. He's a quick player. I think the problem with Martins is that his decision making is quite poor. But Mourinho could change that, I suppose. So was Ronaldo when we got him. Right, okay, I am on holiday. I can't just go on for an hour. I've just realised that. I would happily go on for an hour. So, the great news is that the streaming is working. So we will be back with you tomorrow at 8 o'clock with another stream. Well, it might be 8:30 again. I'll see how the day goes. But it works. Fantastic. Brilliant. Drop us a like. I am on my holiday, but more than happy to do this. And we will react if there is any transfer news, by the way, that's worthwhile. But thanks everyone for joining me tonight. Really enjoyed it. Nice surroundings, nice and relaxing. The stream works, which is fantastic. Keep getting involved in the United Stand. Remember to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you found us and you're new, bottom right hand corner. But thanks everyone for joining me tonight. Loads of you watching, which is fantastic. It is an international break, but there's still lots to talk about. Transfer window closes on Thursday. What news will we have tomorrow? I'll be surprised if there aren't some breaking news stories around United, whether it's later on in the evenings or in the mornings tomorrow. But we'll give it. Christopher Lauchen says, "Is the wife giving you the eye?" Yeah, you've guessed. I'm on a promise. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I'm actually going for a hydro bath. I've got one of those big like sauna baths, which is spa baths, which is great. So I'm going to go and have one of those. And just been down the pool on these rapids things, which is not the best thing for my back, but it was a good laugh. But we're back tomorrow. Back tomorrow at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, unless something happens later on tonight. But thanks everyone for watching, and I've really enjoyed tonight. I actually, you know, we will be back with the Skype shows when I'm back home on Friday, but until then we'll just do the Q&A sort of things, which I do enjoy. So thanks everyone for getting involved. I'll speak to you all later. Thanks for watching.